Here are 10 Xbox Game Pass suggestions for the month of January to kick off the year of 2021. Some of these are available right away, and some of them will release throughout the month. So with that, we have The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, the epic RPG that features the special edition on the console, where you can mod this to basically infinity. You can do all kinds of weird things with it, just have fun. Or you can play a really great enhanced and enriched version of the original Elder Scrolls release. That's right, Skyrim is back. It's available on Game Pass, and it should stay there forever, considering Bethesda's under the first-party branch now, or will be in the near future. And yeah, it's kind of just one epic tale of dragons and fantasy and exploration and discovery with all of the DLC content, the full experience of this legendary RPG that is so insanely well loved by so many, and yeah, it's kind of a big deal. Yakuza 3 Remastered. This is the latest entry in the series to arrive on Xbox and on Xbox Game Pass. I do suggest you play from the beginning if you haven't checked out any of the Yakuza titles prior, since they're all going to be available on Game Pass. So this also comes alongside the rest of the series, 3 onwards, but we're just showcasing 3 because this is the most recent release, and we've showcased the other ones in the past. So yeah, in Yakuza 3, the story continues with our lead character and some supporting characters as well. This is a single-player action-driven series that is very, very dramatic in terms of its style and scope and just basically how it plays. But at the same time, within that drama are some funny moments. It's a bit quirky, it's a bit weird. It's got an interesting battle system where it's like a seamless setup, and you go about enjoying this really lengthy narrative as you're battling along, and once again dealing with high levels of honor. This is The Medium. This is a psychological horror title where you are diving into a series of intense situations that are split between 2 realities, running parallel to one another, which is quite exciting. It's got a great composer kind of working on the soundtrack. It's got an insane style of next-generation visuals, and you're dealing with this dual reality again in a parallel to one another as you solve puzzles and deal with situations of the supernatural that only this special individual could handle. You're going in there as this medium and you're trying to figure out what exactly is happening. It's a dark mystery. It's got a lot of challenge to it, a lot of scares, and I think it's going to deliver a great sense of horror to the Game Pass library. And generally, I'm just quite excited to see what this studio can do with this title, as they've done such great horror games in the past. This is Greedfall. This is an action RPG where there's a lot of different elements coming into it. So basically, you're heading off to this magical island in order to try to find a cure, while also dealing with these mystical invaders. And there's a lot of like diplomacy and discussion and changes as you kind of dynamically alter the world around you in terms of the decisions you make, the moves you do, and also enjoying some really interesting dynamic combat where there is an element of sort of pause and use something or hotkey something to quickly use it. It's got that fantasy style of this particular era. You've kind of gotten a group that you're kind of working with as you go along. And this is just like a starting area of the game. This isn't even when you've launched at that current point in time. But yeah, it's quite a lovely looking game. You get to customize your character, and you get to jump into the action, and it's actually really neat. At number 5, we have Neoverse. So this is a roguelite card-based battling game. So it's a little bit different from what I would typically showcase here, but I actually thought this one was kind of neat looking. Visually, it's fairly impressive. I think it's got a unique style to it, and you're basically battling with these cards against a variety of weird enemies. It's got some sleek moves, lots of particle effects, and yeah, I'm sure there's definitely an audience for this type of experience, and it's something a little bit different than what I would normally show. But yeah, it's actually kind of sleek looking. It's pretty cool. It's really bizarre, I think, to some degree. Lots of different cards to customize your setup, different skills, different abilities, unique ways that you can battle against these various foes that you have. Yeah, it's a pretty interesting and enticing game with unique characters and setups and ways to battle. So if this is your type of experience, I think it's kind of a cool one to highlight. So this is Call of the Sea. This is a bit of an adventure type of experience where you are going back to an older style of gameplay, I guess, in the sense that you are trying to figure out what's going on. You're seeking your husband. He's vanished after trying to find a cure for yourself. And you are going about solving the mysteries and trying to figure out what exactly is going on here. It's gorgeous, it's beautiful. As a game, the atmosphere is perfect. And again, it's a sense of those old school adventure games where you're trying to solve puzzles, figure out what exactly is going on, and moving through this lovely island. There's a sense of mystery and discovery, and I guess you could also say a little bit of a spooky type thing too, but it's really quite wondrous, and I think a very interesting title to jump into on Game Pass. Definitely something a little bit more unique. So this is Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. So this is the second Yooka-Laylee title. They kind of changed things up from the 3D perspective in regards to the style of play for platforming. This goes back to more of a traditional 2D platformer style. And yeah, it's actually quite wonderful. There is a bit of a difficulty edge to it, but it's actually a really, really well done and creative experience. Now, I don't know why I'm doing this, but yeah, it's actually really quite well done, very interesting. The levels have a dynamic edge to them because you can do certain effects in the overworld that we previously showed, and you can kind of change the map. So this could be like a really, kind of warm, watery map, and now that we've applied this ice effect to it, it's now an icy type map, which is a little bit different, new challenges, new setups, and it just adds a lot of gameplay value to play. And you can also, at like any time, go and challenge the ultimate ending thing, which can be a real challenge. This is Slime Rancher. It is an absolutely adorable farming game where you are dealing with slimes. You feed them, and then they kind of spit out these plorts that you can use to sell and make money and then buy new things and improve their habitats. And you go out on adventures too in order to find new slimes, in order to expand your slime garden. You have to take care of all of these different slimes, and it really is quite adorable, and again, really exciting and well done. And if you actually work through the story, because this game does have a story mechanic to it, I think you'll find it to be really quite tragically beautiful and very emotive. But yeah, the core of this is the feedback loop of spending so much time going out into this huge world with all these different biomes, collecting slimes, bringing them back here, feeding them, taking care of them, giving them a cool habitat, and generally having a really great time within this excellent experience. It really is just absolutely delightful and well done. This is SUPERHOT. Mind Control Delete. Super hot. Super hot. If you've played SUPERHOT, you get the gist of what I'm saying. But it's this really interesting continuation of this wild game that's a bit of a simulation where you are kind of only progressing the story and what's happening gameplay-wise as you move. So you're able to line up your shots and then move and then see beautiful particle effects explode and dance across the screen. It's kind of wild. It's got a wide range of weapons and scenarios and setups. It can be really intense because it's kind of a bit of a puzzle game too, in the sense of you need to figure out how exactly to line up your situation in order not to get killed, and to like block shots and use the environment to a degree as well within regards to what items are near you, and just have a wild time. It just looks fantastically sleek and stylized. It's really quite cool. And we finish off with Full Throttle Remastered, the last of the the classic adventure games that I'm showing off here. So we had 3 released from Double Fine, some of the greatest adventure games ever made. They are very well done, kind of, I guess you could say, the point and click to a degree in terms of what you're doing style-wise. But yeah, these games are legendary. I suggest you play all of them. We had, again, we featured one each of the last months. We're finishing off with Full Throttle here, where you're kind of jumping into the scene of a biker gang. And this game is actually just slightly older than I am, so that's kind of interesting too. But yeah, it's just a nostalgic, kind of adventure that you go on. I think it's quite well done, and the series in general of these 3 classic adventure games, it's so great to have them on the platform. They are truly iconic releases and worth checking out if you want something a little bit more story and interesting oriented. those are the Xbox Game Pass suggestions for January. Be sure to like the video so more people can check it out. Subscribing is cool too, and we'll be back next month with more titles.